guys, I'm Christian with Ready to Disney, and we're back from our Disney vacation. Actually, we've been back for about 2 weeks now. Came home, had some things we needed to get taken care of, and wanted to really think about how we wanted to divide up these vlogs. Have to apologize, there were some major technical issues while we were out there. I didn't have a backup camera, and this one kind of stopped working a bit. And the live vlogs happen through the phone, but the regular everyday videos that we were going to do did not. Took a lot of pictures, had a lot of pictures from the PhotoPass people, so each vlog that we're going to do is going to have a lot of those pictures spinning there in the background. Some days have more than others, but so this series is actually going to divide up every day that we were there, starting with the first day with travel and what we did, checking into the hotel, and we're going to continue doing each day. We are going to separate 2 of those days, the events that we did at night, the Not So Scary and the Disney After Hours, into their own vlogs, because I really feel like a lot of people are going to want to know some specifics about those, and we could really spend some time talking about them. So, let's see, that Friday we left real early in the morning. Jenny and I couldn't sleep. We maybe took a half-hour nap before we had to get going. Had a friend take us to the airport, and our flight left around 6:05, I think, is when it finally took off. Weather was clear. Flight was great. Got to the Orlando airport. Everything ran smoothly. Got down to the Magical Express. We were on the bus within 2 or 3 minutes, and we waited on the bus for about another 2 or 3 minutes before we were on our way. We got to our resort. This trip we stayed at the Caribbean Beach Resort, which is what I wanted to talk about the most in this vlog. The resort, just like the other resorts we stayed at, was absolutely gorgeous. Very pretty landscaping. The buildings, all different colors, had that Caribbean theme. However, we noticed some things right when we got up front. Now, to forefront this, we knew going into it that some of the resort was under construction, especially there in Centertown, which is where they will have their check-in and their main stores, main restaurants, those kind of things. They were open before, but they were redoing it all, making it a little more user-friendly. So, in the meantime, there was something that kind of sat with us a little weird. Now, you guys are going to have to worry about that anymore. As a matter of fact, found out today they have finished that stuff up. The menus are out. And by the end of this week, everything is going to be operating as normal, or maybe as it was before. But this trip, the Magical Express stopped us, or dropped us off there at what they called the front house, or the main house. This is where the check-in process was, the bell services, things like that. It's a rather small building. When we got there, there was a fairly long line that we ended up waiting in for almost half an hour behind other people that were either checking in or checking out. So we finally get up there and we speak to someone. Normally we don't have to do that for our check-in. It tells us on our phone, but we were there early enough. We've gotten spoiled with Port Orleans that our room is usually ready by 11 or so in the morning, but it shouldn't be expected. We got to the resort probably around 11, and the room wasn't ready yet, so we wanted to go to the front desk, talk to them, and just see what they thought the process would be. They did tell us the room wasn't ready. Then they offered us something kind of cool. They asked if we needed to have turn-down service the entire trip. You know, they come in and they change the sheets and do all that stuff. And I thought about it, and I said, well, no, not really, but why are they asking this? And they said, well, if you decide to forego that whole process, we'll give you a $60 gift card that can be used, you know, now on your trip. And so I asked, if we need more towels, can we ask for that? If we need more toilet paper, can we ask for that? And she said, yes, that's not a problem. It just won't be an automatic daily thing to come and change your sheets and replenish all those toiletries and stuff like that. So we figured, why not? was a good thing because that actually ended up paying for our breakfast the next morning. So we ended up with a free breakfast over that. And really, I don't think we missed anything by not having someone come in. Actually, it was kind of nice. We didn't have to feel like we had to keep certain things out of reach or whatever. So I liked it. When we were done checking in, we were told we had to wait. There was no way to get from that main house to the resort where the rooms and the buildings are, the different areas, which I thought was odd, but it would have been probably a 35, 40-minute walk. We found out where we ended up being, and they don't allow walking along that particular roadway. So what they do is they have an internal shuttle that'll take you to the different stops. Now there's 5 different areas. You've got, or it's actually 6. You've got Old Port Royale, which is where the main pool is. That center town I was talking about, the restaurants, that kind of stuff. The next stop is going to be Martinique, which is just one group of buildings. The next stop is Trinidad North. Then you have Trinidad South at the very, very end. This is the furthest point in the resort from the main house. From what I understand, that's also where they have the specialized pirate rooms if you want to do those. Then the bus comes back a little bit, goes over a bridge, and then you've got Jamaica and Aruba. Now, we stayed in Jamaica, but our room wasn't ready. We knew that the front desk told us that this is where you're going to be staying. This is the building you're going to be staying in. We'll give you your room number here in a little bit via text. So we hopped on, took the internal loop. We knew that there was a quick service place called Spyglass Grill that's fairly new, opened in the last year. So we decided, you know what, let's go eat. All we had was, Jenny, me, the wheelchair, and one carry-on with a strap on it. So we didn't have to carry our luggage around. And so we went and ate. Spyglass Grill, it's your typical quick service. It did have a couple other options that some of your other quick service wouldn't have.
The burger was good.
That's Jenny in the background. She did not want to be on camera tonight, but it's coming, I promise. But we had a burger, and it was good. It was a good burger. Burger, fries, drink. But they did have some more, I guess, tropical items that they could choose from there that you wouldn't normally get everywhere else. They did have some fish dishes and stuff like that you could get. Anyways, we left there, and by this point we're beat. We're tired. It's been a long day. As we're walking around, we figured we'd go ahead and head over to Jamaica, trying to get a lay of the land, look at some stuff while we're waiting. Well, as we're walking, we get the text, your room's ready. Okay. So we go to our room. As you can see from some of these pictures, this is nighttime pictures. We ended up with a corner room. Love the corner rooms. I love having 2 windows. And I love the corner rooms. I don't know why they're not any bigger. I like them. Now, to back up a little bit, when our plane landed, we were at the airport, we decided to try a new service. We knew we wanted some snacks and drinks in the room, and we did not want to pay the resort prices or the Disney prices for, a bottle of soda or something like that. So what I did was I found out that since I'm an Amazon Prime member, they have something called Amazon Prime Now. And their distributing location happens to be in Orlando, one of them. And they had everything we needed. We got some sodas, we got some Gatorades, we got some, iced coffee things that you put in the fridge, and some chips and dip, just some snacky kind of items. We paid regular grocery store prices. I think the total bill was like $35 or something like that. The cool thing is they deliver it directly to your Bell Services, and they guarantee a delivery within 2 hours for free. If you want it within 1 hour, it's $8. But we knew we had some time, so as soon as our plane landed, we were in the airport. I went ahead and ordered everything. Boom. Well, once we got into our room, I called Bell Services, said, hey, we have groceries coming. They said, you know what? They're already here. They brought the groceries with our luggage to the room. We never had to leave the room to go get any of that stuff. Very convenient, very cool. So if you guys are going, whether you drive, whether you fly or whatever, everybody wants to have snacks in their rooms. If you're an Amazon Prime member, I would really, really suggest using that Amazon Prime now. They deliver to any of the resorts for free within 2 hours, and you're good to go. And you're not going to pay any high prices. That was awesome. We loved that. So the guys showed up, brought our luggage in, we unpacked, got everything put away. We decided it was time to rest. That didn't work out. So I think Jenny was able to grab maybe 20 minutes. By the time I put everything up, I started to lay down, I looked over, and we kind of went, you know what? Let's go ahead and go and start looking around the parks. Let's get into the parks. So we had a couple fast passes for that night, which we typically don't do. The night we arrive is usually our Disney Springs evening, but this time we decided to go. So we get into Animal Kingdom, we're walking around. Jenny, which you guys are going to see here in probably about 3 more vlogs, we go back to Animal Kingdom, and she's going to show you her new Animal Kingdom ears. So she officially now has one for every park. So we're good to go there. Anyways, we go in, we buy her ears, we start wandering over, and our first fast pass for the whole trip was the Navi River ride. So we went, we enjoyed that. You know, that one's a really cool ride. It's very slow moving. It's just a little, you're in a boat, you're going through, but what makes it appealing is it's very visually appealing. A lot of colors, a lot of things going on. However, we decided that maybe next time that's one of the Pandora rides that we could probably skip in lieu for something else. Because it does use up what they call a tiered fast pass, which means you can't book both Pandora rides on the same day, only one or the other. And so I think next time we may skip it. I don't know, it depends on how we feel. Shortly after that, we went by one of our rest areas that we showed you in a previous picture that's behind the Tree of Life. Sat down for a little bit. Then it was time to eat. And of course, where do you go when you want quick service at Animal Kingdom? Flame Tree Barbecue. And it was perfect as always. There was nobody there. We ate at about, I don't know, about 5:30, 5:45. And there was maybe a handful of tables scattered out that were in use. So what we did was we took one of the tables way in the back, down there by the water, that we showed you guys pictures of in a previous vlog, where you can look out over the little lake there. Had a great meal, very quiet. It was nice. Wasn't too hot that evening. Anyways, ate there, went over and rode Dinosaur. Had a great time with that. Next stop, we actually, on our way to our next Fast Pass, we stopped by the Primeval World there in Dino Land. And I tell you, there was about a 20-minute wait for that. However, if you're really nice to the cast members, maybe a joke here or there or something like that, they kind of work with you a little bit. Well, Jenny's in a wheelchair. We pull up, and they have those, you know, you have to be this high to ride the ride. So I made a joke and pushed her up to that sign and was kind of measuring her. She's sitting in a wheelchair. And they thought it was funny, and they said, oh, you know what, you're giving her a hard time. Why don't y'all take the Fast Pass line? So we got right on. It was a lot of fun. After that, we took a walk on over to our last Fast Pass, which was the Expedition Everest. Caught that right at dusk. Really cool. You had a lot of colors in the sky. Wasn't quite dark yet. We kind of wanted to see it at night, but this was really pretty. So we enjoyed that one. It was a lot of fun. And after that, decided to call it quits. So that's our first day. Now there's a couple of things I want you guys to be aware of. Also staying at the Caribbean Beach Resort. Going back to that. Again, the construction's over with. This time next week, everything in that resort will be open. The only construction you have to think about is the DVC, the Disney Vacation Club, the newest resort they're building for that, is way in the front of the property. I think you're really not going to be disturbed by that at all. We never really heard much noises, even when we came back during the day. If you're outside, you might hear something, but it wasn't loud enough to come in when you're in the room. Not that I remember. And then over on the Jamaica side, matter of fact, right next to, within walking distance of the Jamaica section, is where they're building the gondola station. And they were working hard and heavy on that, so I believe sometime it's slated for next summer. They'll have that up and running, so if you stay at this resort, that might be one of the pluses to staying at the Jamaica side, is because you can be right there for the gondolas if you want to give that a try. You're also not that far of a walk away to the other side of the water. Hopefully when the picture comes up again. And that's where your restaurant's going to be, and your main pool. Now each location has their own little pool where the laundry and everything else is, but they have the one big theme pool up there at Old Port Royale. But it's not that far of a walk from where we were staying in Jamaica. Here's the downside. Before we got there, we found out from a cast member that they were doing a trial deal over the summer where those two back sections of the Caribbean Beach Resort would run their own buses to the parks between 8 a.m. and 11 a.m. and again between 4 p.m. and 6 p.m. And the reason why is because Jamaica and Aruba are the last two stops for any of the park buses to hit before they head out to the parks. So you've got 4 other stops before it hits Jamaica, 5 other stops before it hits Aruba. The problem with this is, in the busier times, we got stuck a few times. We allowed an hour-and-a-half travel time to get to either our first fast pass or a breakfast reservation. And almost every time we got there either right on time or just a little hair over, which they worked with us on. But for my little bit OCD scheduling mind, that was unacceptable. An hour and a half should be plenty of time to be able to get on a bus, get to somewhere, walk through the park to your reservation or fast pass, and not feel like you're rushed by any means. And we did several times. The reason why is because all those other stops fill up the buses during those times. And when they're full up, either they stop by your stop and don't have enough room to put somebody that's in a wheelchair or something like that on, so they'll skip you, or they just won't stop at those stops at all because they're too full. This is why over the summer they tried something new during those busy times to do buses that just went to those 2 stops and a whole nother bus that went to the other 4. But they stopped that right before, about a week or 2 before we got there. That's really our only complaint about that resort, is how those buses were running. I did fill in a questionnaire and the survey, and one of the suggestions was to pick up that second bus line all year round for those busy times, because that can get really frustrating, and we always didn't have the luxury of walking clear across the resort. So that's our first day there. We've got a lot of exciting vlogs coming up about different things that we did, including Not So Scary Halloween party, including a very special dining that we did at night during the fireworks, Disney After Hours, and we're going to give our thoughts and suggestions if you want to use the Lyft app to order a regular Lyft car to go from park to park, resort to resort, or the actual minivan. We'll give you our pros and cons of each, because we did them all, and we've got some advice for you. Anyways, thanks for stopping in with me this evening. You should put another one out by this weekend, talking about day 2. So until then, have fun storming the castle.